Join the community, guys. Hit that subscribe button. Thumbs up the video. This has been Deontay Wilder's best year as a professional boxing champion. He is a champion after all. This has been his best year. 100% facts. But it's also been his worst year, in my opinion. It's been his best year because of the two guys he chose to defend his titles against, right? He fought Luis Ortiz and, of course, Tyson Fury, right? Now, both of these heavyweights were considered at the time as elite contenders, right? As elite Luis Ortiz was ranked, I think, top 5 best heavyweight at the time when they fought. He was undefeated. Tyson Fury was the former unified champion, right? Granted, he was inactive, but he was still the former unified champion. Both of them were undefeated. Hands down, the two best guys Deontay Wilders ever fought, right? Prior to these two guys, the best guy Deontay Wilder had in his resume was fucking Bermain Stavern. Bermain Stavern. Yeah, Bermain Stavern. That overrated fighter. But obviously, with him facing Luis Ortiz and Tyson Fury, that erases that. These are his two best fights. So definitely his best year when it comes to quality of championship defenses. Now, why was it his worst year? Because in both of those two fights, he looked like trash. Like, Deontay Wilder, right, has always been perceived as a protected, overrated fighter, right? I remember when he was coming up, people were saying that the minute he fights a legit fighter, he's going to get destroyed, exposed, right? And to some extent, that was the truth, and that was the case. Because in this year, 2018, where he fought his two best opponents, which was Ortiz and Tyson Fury, he looked horrible against them, right? He looked horrible. Let's keep it 100. Let's keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? Deontay Wilder looked horrible against Luis Ortiz. He got Luis Ortiz out of there. He knocked him down. But that was an easy fight for Luis Ortiz. I thought Luis Ortiz was just dominating. Go look at my post fight. I told you it was an exciting fight, but I thought Luis Ortiz was clearly dominating. And I believe that I said in that post fight video that had Deontay Wilder not had punching power, Luis Ortiz would have just won via decision, right? But the one thing I liked about that fight when it came to Wilder was he showed heart. I remember talking about that. I said Wilder showed heart in that fight because he was hurt badly, but he didn't wilt. He didn't wilt. Like one of his title defenses did, which is Jared Washington. Washington has no heart. He didn't wilt Deontay Wilder. So I remember liking that, what I saw from Deontay Wilder in that fight, because he didn't wilt. Then he fought Tyson Fury. And many people felt he got lucky against Tyson Fury. I thought he looked really bad against Tyson Fury. I was not impressed at all. I felt that he was just looking very one-dimensional. He was just depending way too much on one punch. He wasn't changing his game plan, and I felt really embarrassed watching that, just because I felt like this guy's supposed to be a top. Some people claim that Deontay Wilder is the best heavyweight on the planet. And I'm looking at Deontay Wilder getting his ass schooled, and it just made me feel embarrassed, because it's like, this guy's supposed to be the number one heavyweight or the second best heavyweight, but he's getting schooled against a guy who hasn't even fought a proper heavyweight in 3.5 years. That's a bad look. You know, you're not supposed to get in schooled against a guy who was off a 3-year layoff. You're supposed to be dominating him, especially if you're a so-called elite heavyweight. Okay? So it just made me feel embarrassed as an American boxing fan, at least, because in the United States, Deontay Wilder is perceived as the best American, American champion, or he's perceived as the best American heavyweight, right? But in my eyes, I don't think he is the best American. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here. The thing was that he looked bad in both of those fights. So it was a good year for him because he finally at least fought some quality opponents. When it came to title defenses, but it was a bad year because he looked like shit against them. He looked bad against them. So that whole thing where people are saying the minute he fights a legit fighter, he's gonna get exposed. If you think about it, kind of was like the truth, because like I said, the 2 times he actually challenged himself, he didn't look too good, right? He looked bad, really. He looked poor in those 2 fights, right? So I guess in a sense it's kind of true what the boxing fans have been saying, that Deontay Wilder, the minute he fights a legit contender, he's gonna look like shit or he's gonna lose, and that was the case, right? It has been the case so far, because in both of these 2 back-to-back fights, he's looked like crap against both of them, right? Also, he didn't fight Anthony Joshua. Okay, that's another big thing. All right, but like I said, we have to keep there's always a positive and negative, right? So this year, I have to give Deontay Wilder some credit for at least giving me, at least making me feel a little bit better towards his resume, because I'm a person who really cares about resumes. A boxer's resumes, they mean something to me. Like if I see a boxer with a padded resume, I don't like that. I feel embarrassed. You shouldn't be having no padded resume, because like I said, resumes mean something to me. So that's why I've always been hard on Deontay Wilder. But when it comes to Deontay Wilder, at least this year he's had a better resume because of the 2 guys he's fought. Hopefully he continues this next year. Right? It would be great if next year he fought. You know who I want Deontay Wilder to fight next year? Anthony Joshua, Dillian White, Tyson Fury. Those are the 3 guys I want to see him fight. Those are 3 guys. Forget about the Dominic Brazil. Okay? I want to see him in there against Dillian White, because a lot of people feel that Deontay Wilder ducked Dillian White. I also want to see him in there against Tyson Fury to get that rematch out of the way, and those doubts that people feel that he got a gift decision against him. And I also want to see him against Anthony Joshua, so we have a undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. That's what I want to see Deontay Wilder up against. Hopefully, again, I hope he doesn't go backwards. Okay, this year has been, like I said, good and bad for Wilder. Good in the fact that he fought quality guys. Bad in the fact that he looked like shit against both of those quality guys. Anyway, guys, that's all I have to say. Subscribe, and I'm out.